Hey everyone, it's me. From tragic accidents to creepy conspiracies, here are 5 scary facts school never taught you. No. 5. The disappearance of the Roanoke colony. In the year 1587, a group of around 120 English settlers arrived at the coast of what is now North Carolina. They were looking for gold and other riches, and when they landed, they found some evidence of some people who had lived there before them, but not much. And so they established an English settlement near where they had landed. They built homes and started raising crops. But by the time another ship arrived to check on them 3 years later, they were gone. There was no sign of any struggle or foul play. The only clue was the word Croatoan carved into a post. This has never been solved. Who were these people? Where did the settlers go, and what happened to them? Some believe they all ran away and joined the local tribe, while others think they were killed by rival Spanish colonists. Number 4. The Mary Celeste. In 1872, a ship called the Mary Celeste was sailing from New York to Genoa, Italy, carrying mostly wine. But when it reached the Strait of Gibraltar, it sent out a distress signal. The captain had fallen ill and was unable to steer, so they dropped anchor until he recovered. When a nearby ship went over to check on them, they saw that the Mary Celeste had been abandoned. Lifeboats were scheduled to pick up the crew, but they didn't show up. The ship was found to be fully stocked with food, and the crew's belongings were still there, including their life jackets. It looked like the crew had simply left the ship, but nobody knows why. Some believe the crew had been kidnapped by pirates, but this was likely not the case. Others think that an earthquake or waterborne disease may have struck the ship and forced them to abandon it. Still others say that aliens abducted them. Okay, maybe we can chalk that last one up to people's imagination, but what about no? 3. Ancient Greek and Roman statues are actually brilliantly colored, and not just bare marble or stone. During the Renaissance, people started finding these ancient statues and taking them back to their own cities. Since they didn't know much about how the ancient civilizations had painted them, they assumed they had always been bare, marble, or stone. Even today, most of them haven't been restored to their original colors. A statue in the British Museum was finally given a coat of paint in 2019, revealing it had once been a bright blue color. This makes us wonder, why don't we paint them? What would we find if we did? Would we discover even more secrets hidden in plain sight? Or watch? No. 2. What if you could see dead people? That would be pretty cool, right? Well, not really. While visiting Paris in 1852, scientist John Henry Pepper was walking down the street when he saw a man reading a newspaper. He walked right through him, and he kept walking until he crashed into a wall. At first he thought he was having a stroke, but then he realized he'd seen right through the man as if he were made of glass. He reported this to the French Academy of Sciences, but they dismissed it as a delusion. However, there have been reports of people seeing through solid objects throughout history. In 1615, a German monk wrote about a woman who could walk through walls. In 1880, a British woman claimed she could see ghosts, which led scientists to study her ability. It seemed that sometimes she could walk through objects and other times she couldn't. Like John Henry, they dismissed it as a delusion. But how many people have to report something before it stops being a delusion? And what do we do about it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. Now, let's move on to No. 1. A broken heart. Have you ever heard of a broken heart? Of course, it's a common figure of speech used to describe someone who is deeply upset, but did you know it can also kill you? In 2015, a Japanese doctor published a report of a patient who died from a broken heart. He was a 41-year-old man who had been engaged, but his fiancée suddenly broke off the engagement without any warning. The man was devastated, and he died of a heart attack a month later. He was completely healthy before this happened. His blood pressure and electrocardiogram were both normal. Doctors performed an autopsy and discovered that he had suffered from stress-induced cardiomyopathy, also known as broken heart syndrome. This is when your heart temporarily enlarges in response to stress. It doesn't usually lead to death. In fact, most people recover from it completely. However, the man had a genetic mutation that put him at higher risk of death. But what about those things that go bump in the night? Watch ghosts caught on camera and decide for yourself if they're real. And make sure you stick around for No. 2 because we bet it'll give you goosebumps. Number 6. Ghosts, are they real? People have been debating this for hundreds of years. Some believe they are the souls of people who have died and are stuck on Earth. Others think they're figments of our imagination, created by our brains to play tricks on us. Whatever they are, there's no denying that some places are more haunted than others. Like the Queen Mary, a luxury ocean liner that set sail in 1936, it was the largest ship of its time, complete with a swimming pool and a golf course, but it wasn't meant to stay that way. In 1938, it collided with another ship and sank. More than 30 people died. Since then, visitors have reported seeing ghosts on board, including a little girl in a Victorian nightgown and a man in a wheelchair. Or what about the Tower of London? Built in 1066, it was once home to royalty and nobility, but it was also used as a prison and a place of execution. Over the centuries, more than 2,000 people are said to have been killed there, including 2 young princes, who vanished in 1483. Visitors have reported hearing their cries in the night. So are ghosts real? We'll leave that up to you. But one thing's for sure, these places are definitely worth exploring. And now for number 7, conspiracies. These are theories that try to explain events that most people believe are true. But what if they're not? Take the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, for example. Most people believe that Lincoln was shot by John Wilkes Booth, a famous actor who opposed slavery, but some believe that Booth was actually a government agent who was framed for the crime. Why? Because Booth was killed by Union soldiers just 12 days after the assassination? Or the death of Elvis Presley? The king of rock and roll died in 1977, at the age of 42, but some believe he faked his death to escape the pressures of fame. After all, he'd been struggling with addiction and had recently had a heart attack. A conspiracy theory says that Elvis was actually living in California under the false identity of John Burroughs. So which conspiracies do you believe? Let us know in the comments below. Okay, now it's time for number 8. The Bermuda Triangle. This is an area in the Atlantic Ocean where ships and planes have mysteriously disappeared. The first recorded disappearance in the Bermuda Triangle was in 1492 when Spanish explorer Juan de la Casa sailed into the area with 4 ships. Only one came out the other side. Since then, more than 100 planes and ships have vanished in the Bermuda Triangle, leading to all sorts of conspiracy theories. Some say it's a portal to another dimension. Others say it's the result of methane gas bubbling up from the ocean floor. But the truth is, we don't really know what happens in the Bermuda Triangle. It's just a big, mysterious area of the ocean, and there's a lot we don't understand about it. But one thing's for sure, it's definitely worth exploring. We hope you enjoyed learning these scary facts about our world that your school never taught you. Which one was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.